We have Shami. Shami was invited here. I think you will be able to learn about what you were invited here for once the presentation cannot happen before the presentation. So be patient. You're going to learn why you're invited here. Yes, so Dr. Eli, I think you're ready right now.
Yeah.
Karibu sana. Let us all welcome Dr. Eli Seboa.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Where I'm coming from, where I am right now, it's just 4 minutes past midday, and there I think it's 2 p.m. East African time. So I'm very humbled and very
it's actually
honored.
8.
Yeah,
8 or
it's
4.
8, yes. It's 4 past 8 p.m. I'm so humbled, very grateful to be here, and I think this is my very first time to work with you, Mr. Kagami. I'm so humbled, and I know that our presentation and whatever I'm going to share will call more and will at least impact our lives. And because for us who are public health specialists, our work is to advocate for prevention other than curing. So for us, we prefer prevention, and in English, they say prevention is better than cure. Mr. Kagane, are you hearing me well?
Yes, you're very clear.
All right. So today, our topic, as Mr. Kagana said, is about heart health. And I'm assuming that whoever I'm speaking to, he or she has that organ called the heart. It's our engine. As you see the car can't move without the engine. So our heart is our engine, meaning it's a very, very, very vital organ. And today, Mr. Kagane, as you've just mentioned, our heart is not being taken care of. And that's why today is the leading killer worldwide. So before I go further, let us know what's the heart. If we can have here, a heart is a muscle, and it's about a size of your fist. So when everyone, your fist, that's how your heart is. So that's the size of the heart that is performing a very, very important role in your body. Each day, your heart beats around 100,000 times. You can imagine 100 times. This continuous pumps about 5 liters of blood around your body through a network of blood vessels in your circulatory system. Now, what is the function of the heart? Number one function of the heart is to pump blood throughout the body. Number two, to control the rate and the rhythm of your heartbeat. And at the same time, maintaining a normal blood pressure. The blood pumped carries oxygen and nutrients to the organs and the muscle. And also, it carries the carbon dioxide and other waste products to the lungs and other organs for disposal. So that's what our heart does. So all the transportation of our minerals and the blood that we need to perform everything it's the work of the heart to pump the blood, which blood carries the oxygen, it carries away the carbon dioxide and waste product to the lungs and other organs for disposal. Now, when we are talking about the heart, sometimes we use the word cardiovascular. So cardiovascular means, and it's an umbrella term for the heart and the blood vessels. So when we talk about cardiovascular diseases, or CVD, is the leading cause of death worldwide, responsible for approximately 18 million deaths annually. 18 million, according to World Health Organization. What does that mean? That means that nearly 1 in 3 deaths globally, more than cancer, respiratory diseases, accidents combined. So literally it means in every 3 deaths, in every 3 people who are dying, 1 of them is dying of heart disease or cardiovascular diseases. Did you know that every 30 seconds, we know in a minute we have 60 seconds, but every 30 seconds, 1 person dies from cardiovascular diseases. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? So it means that in a minute, 2 people die of CVD, which is very alarming. Mr. Kagame, are we together? Hello, Mr. Kagame, are you hearing me? Am I loud and clear?
Very loud and clear.
I'm assuming I'm very, very loud and clear. Now, when we talk about cardiovascular disease, we refer to a group of conditions affecting the heart and the blood vessels. And the most common diseases for the CVD or cardiovascular diseases, number 1, we have coronary heart disease, or CAB. This is the blockage or narrowing of the arteries that supplies the heart with blood. Sometimes the heart and circulatory system do not work like they should. This can cause the heart and the saturation to have some conditions. And one of them is the coronary heart disease. And this is when your coronary arteries become narrowed by the fatty materials or plaque within the walls of the vessels. Eventually, your arteries may become so narrow that they cannot get enough blood to your heart. That's when the coronary heart disease or coronary artery disease comes in. Another disease, we have heart attack. Heart attack, here we talked about heart failure, but I think let's say heart attack. Heart attack, that's the blockage of blood flow to the heart muscle. This usually happens, or this usually occurs when the flow of blood to the heart is severely reduced or blocked. And the blockage is usually due to the buildup of the fat, the cholesterols, and other substances in the coronary arteries. And sometimes the plaque can rupture and form a clot that blocks the blood flow, which brings in the heart attack. We have the stroke, and the stroke is the disruption of blood flow to the brain, causing brain damage or death. It happens when the blood flow to the part of your brain is disrupted. So when it's disrupted, the stroke happens, and when a stroke happens, the chances of you surviving, they are very minimal. But people who are going through stroke, sometimes they take years to get back to normal life. We have a heart failure, which is the heart's inability to pump blood effectively. We can talk about angina. Angina, it's or you can say the chest pain. The chest pain that comes and go. Sometimes you feel tightness or squeezing in your chest. It happens when your heart is not receiving enough oxygen, which you call oxygen-rich blood. And remember, sometimes this is not a disease, but it's a symptom and a warning sign of a heart disease. You can talk about the cardiac arrest. And this happens when an electric issue that makes your heart stop beating. And when your heart stops pumping blood, you become unconscious. And that's when the cardiac arrest happens. We can talk about arrhythmia or abnormal heart rhythm. Usually, this usually means that your heart is beating too fast, is beating too slow, or very irregular. I can give an example to this. When my wife was pregnant, I think she was 8 months, and on her last, I think was third last appointment, when the doctors were examining her, they saw that the baby had arrhythmia. So literally, it means that her heart rhythm, we are abnormal. So what happened? They never risked, because that happened at night, and I think the hospital, which was low, they never had a cardiologist around. So what happened? They told my wife that, you know what, we are getting the baby out because we are not sure what's happening with the baby's heart. So what happened? She went through a cesarean, and when the baby was born, they made sure that they flew the baby from the hospital, because the hospital was something like 45 minutes to Boston General Hospital. So the baby was flown. So when we talk about arrhythmia, it's a serious condition that can cause death. We talk about the congenital heart disease. This is a fault or a problem with the heart. It's happened to when like how can I say that? It comes from it's before the baby is born. So this happens when the baby is born. It develops when the baby is still in the womb. So that's why sometimes babies are born with when they have issues with the heart. So it's because of the genital heart disease. We have the inherited heart conditions. These are passed on through families. They can affect people of any age. And if you left it untreated, it can be life-threatening. We have vesicular dementia, a condition caused by the poor blood flow in the brains, resulting in symptoms like memory loss, confusion, this is happening sometimes with some of us, because sometimes someone may be having, maybe he has his phone in his hand, he or she, then he or he starts looking around and say, I had my phone, where is my phone? Where is my phone? Yet, when he or she has a phone in her hand. So these are vesicular dementia that happens to anyone. And also people with type 2 diabetes, a condition where the amount of sugar in your blood is too high. This can cause damage to the blood vessels and increases the risk of developing a heart or a circulatory disease. So when you have 2 type diabetic, you are so likely to develop cardiovascular disease. That's why we say that heart disease and diabetes, it's a couple. Sometimes they move together. So lastly, we have hypertension, which is a high blood pressure. I think this is very common. High blood pressure is a condition in which the force of the blood against the artery walls is too high. When it's too high, that's when the high blood pressure or hypertension happens. So that's why we should always check your blood pressure. A normal blood pressure is less than 120/80 millimeter of mercury. So we are talking about 120, that's the systolic, and below, which is diastolic, which is 80. So when you have less than that, then you are normal. But when you have above 140/90, automatically you have high blood pressure. I think as now, why is cardiovascular disease so deadly? It's so deadly because it lacks all symptoms. Many people do not experience that they have high blood pressure until a significant damages happens. Today, we are living a very unhealthy lifestyle. And this happens to most of my friends who are the networkers. The networkers, they don't have time. You find someone, for example, in Kampala, the office I know, they enter office at around 7. They had sale. From sale, they go for training. From training, they go for presentation. From presentation, they go to inviting or to go through with their prospect, and the day is finished. They've done nothing, like maybe any simple exercise, and I know you people most of us who are in white collar jobs, we have poor diet. Poor diet. When I talk about poor diet, I mean unprocessed food. Unprocessed food. So unprocessed food contributes to cardiovascular diseases. And the problem we have in Africa is that we copy how the Westerners eat. But the Westerners, they eat that, but they supplement. But for us, we just copy, but we don't paste. So that brings in a very big challenge to our society. We talk about smoking. When you're smoking, you have chances of developing a cardiovascular disease. People who abuse alcohol, they say excessive consumption of alcohol also leads to cardiovascular diseases. And Mr. Shem?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Do we have any question?
Maybe best would be just 3 questions, but on the chat box. We will get the first three questions on the chat box, and then you can answer them, the first 3.
All right. So I want us to go very fast because we have a few minutes left. So now, what are the risk factors of cardiovascular disease? Number 1 is poor diet. A diet in high fat, salt, and sugar, lack of physical activities. I've talked about smoking and alcohol consumption. When you're obese, you're likely to have issues to do with cardiovascular diseases.
It's like a nightmare in heaven.
Come again?
It's a heaven because, Congo is.
Oh, thank you. So, people are stressed. People are always stressed. So you have high chances of developing cardiovascular disease. People who I know, most of us, we don't have quality time for sleep. So we lack sleep, and when we don't have enough sleep between because the recommended one is between 7 to 9 hours. So when we don't have that, so we are likely to have issues to do with cardiovascular. So we go to non-modifiable risk factors. These are non-modified that you cannot control. So the age. So when you age, automatically it means that you have high chances of developing cardiovascular disease. And when we talk about age, when you reach like 45 and you have high chances. When women reach 50, they have high chances. But nowadays, because we have poor diet, nowadays it's not a guarantee that when we reach that age, even before that, you can develop cardiovascular diseases. So we talk about family history. If in your family you had a history of heart diseases, so you have high chances of developing that disease. Gender, men at a high risk of developing high blood pressure, but women's risk increases after when they reach their menopause. But before that, their risk, they are not so high compared to us men. And we talked about I think it was the genetic also plays a role. And the question is, how do you prevent that? We can prevent cardiovascular diseases, number 1, when we eat healthy. When we eat healthy, when I eat a health diet, this includes we should have fruits, we should have vegetables, we should have whole grains, we should have health fats. I recommend only one oil, which is extra virgin oil. That's the oil I recommend. These other, the olive, the other vegetable, that one I'm not so sure. So, and you have to reduce on the salt, the sugar. You have to reduce on the red meat, and you have to reduce on the processed food. Number 2, stay active. Regular exercising, engaging in at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week. Me, I recommend brisk walking. When we talk about brisk, it means fast. You walk fast. So that's what helps the heart to stay healthy and very, very active. You can swim, those who knows how to swim. You can cycle, those who know how to ride bicycles, and that can keep can improve the saturation, because remember, when the heart is flowing normally, you don't have any chances of developing that. But when the blood is not pumping the way it should be, so there are high chances of you developing that. So you quit smoking, and you limit your alcohol intake. Remember, smoking doubles the heart attack risks. So if you see the cases that has happened, people who smoke a lot, they are at high risk of developing heart attack compared to those who don't smoke. So we say alcohol should be moderate, because they say one bottle for women and 2 bottles for men. I don't know whether some people can agree with me, but that's what is recommended, so that you should have a healthy heart. Another point is you manage your stress and get enough sleep. You can meditate. You can do yoga. If you can't do that, you can have a deep breathing exercise that lowers the blood pressure. You aim for at least 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night. Quality sleep per night. I know that is very hard, but we should have 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. Get regular health checkups. That's a problem we have in Africa. We rarely go for checkups. We only go for checkups when we have conditions. So I urge you, if you want to have a healthy heart, you go for a medical checkup. They monitor your blood pressure, they monitor your cholesterol, and they monitor your blood sugar regularly, because early detection can prevent life-threatening events. And remember that cardiovascular disease kills more people than any other disease, yet 80% of those cases can be prevented. So I think we've talked about what we need to do when to avoid having cardiovascular diseases. So other warning signs, we have chest pain, we have shortness of breath, we have swelling in the legs, we have fatigue. So when you see such warnings, kindly go and seek some medical attention. So before we go further, I would like to share with you one of a story of my comrade. John was a successful businessman with a demanding career. He often skipped exercises. He ate most of his food were fast food. He worked late. He never had time to sleep for months. And he always felt fatigued and occasionally had chest tightness, but dismissed it all. And he was saying, no, I'm stressed. So one evening, while he was in a meeting, he collapsed from a massive heart attack. Despite the emergency medical attention, it was too late. So John just died. I'm not saying this to scare you, but I'm just telling you that heart disease is a serious thing. Cardiovascular disease remains the world's leading cause of death, but it does not have to be a death sentence. We can spread the awareness that I'm doing, and we can together fight the problem of high blood pressure or cardiovascular disease. So what's the solution? The solution to a heart disease is super omega-3. Why super omega-3? If you look at super omega-3 here, you look at people who are excited, because when you enjoy super omega-3, you are always excited, you don't have stress. So now, what's super omega-3? It's a premium and a high potential source of fish oil dietary supplement in a soft gel. It's in a soft gel, loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin E, and alpha-renonic acid, or we call it ALA. And remember, it's molecularly distilled. This fish oil, we get it from the tissues of salmon fish. Other fish is, we get from salmon fish, and it comes with the DHA, which is the docosahexaenonic acid, EPA, which is eicosapotenoic acid, together with vitamin E, that is very essential in reducing the body's cholesterol. Super omega-2 is loaded with powerful ingredients. Number 1 is the fish oil. Number 2 is the EPA. Number 3 is the DHA, which is very essential for growth and function development in the brain of the infant. So I will talk more about this when we come to the important why we should use super omega-3. They say here DHA is also required for the maintenance of a normal brain in adults and improves the learning ability. Remember, I talked about you having your pen in your hands, and now you start asking people that, I had my pen, where is my pen? Yet you have it in your hand. So DHA, that's its work. So we have the alpha-renonic acid from plant oil, like flax seeds, which is also an ingredient in super omega-3. We have the vitamin E, which is a fat-soluble vitamin, essential for various bodily function. Now, since you've known what super omega-3 is, the question is, why super omega-3? This is where my interest is. Now, if you look at cardiovascular that we've been talking about, they say it reduces platelet aggregation, in bracket, thickness, preventing blood clot, and improves blood flow and oxygen. Now, remember, blood is made up of plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. But my point is about the platelets. The platelets, its work is to form a clot. That's why sometimes I pose a question and say, do we need blood clot, or we don't need it? The answer is, we need blood clot, and sometimes we don't need blood clot. Because for example, when you get a wound, when something has cut you, when the blood is flowing, automatically we need a blood clot to stop the blood from flowing. And inside, we don't need a blood clot, because when the blood clot happens, it forms a plaque that limits the blood flow, which in turn causes cardiovascular diseases. But here they are saying it reduces the platelet aggregation. So when you are using super omega-3, that thickness or clot that is needed will happen. But that clot that is not needed, it will never happen because super omega-3 has the power to reduce that aggregation in the vein vessels. Number 2, it reduces blood pressure. Now, this is very interesting. I want us to go back and I think I want to show you something here. Mr. Kagame, can you see me now? Shem? Shem, are you there? Mr. Shem, are you there? Mr. Shem, are you there? Mr. Shem, are you there? Okay. So now I want to demonstrate. Assuming this is our, I don't know whether all of you are seeing me, but assuming this is our vein vessels. If this is our vein vessels, I've just made a paper and I'm assuming that this this vessel is our blood vessels. So our conventional medicine, when I think, let me first go to this page. Here, if you look down here, this is how a normal artery should be. Blood is flowing normally. There's no plaque. There's no this. There's no this. This is partially blocked, and this is completely blocked. Now, if you have such veins or artery, what happens to our conventional medicine? The conventional medicine they're going to give you, assuming this is your vein vessel, the conventional medicine, what does it do? It doesn't remove this fat, that is this plaque. It doesn't remove it. What it does, it enlarges the vein vessels. Are you seeing here? It enlarges the vein vessels. So when the vein vessels is enlarged, now it means that blood is going to flow for some time. So when the intensity of the drug disappears, the vein vessels will go back to its normal size with its build up inside here. But what does super omega-3 do? Super omega-3 will never change the vein vessels here, the size. It will just go inside here because remember, it's a good fat fighting a bad fat. So what will happen? It will go inside here and remove all this fat, and your vein vessels will be clean and your blood will flow normally. I hope you've understood that. We go back. It prevents a clot. That one we've discussed about it. It improves the heart health and overall cardiovascular health and reduces the risk of coronary heart disease and its complication. Remember, it has DHA. So this is super omega-3 is the food for the heart. And we said what causes high blood pressure? It's the build-up. The pressure in the walls because there are a lot of plaque. There's a lot of build-up. So this one will go inside the vein vessels and it will clean, it will eliminate, it will dissolve because it's a gel. It goes inside there and dissolves that bad fat in our veins that has caused the issues to do with cardiovascular diseases. We go to immunity. It boosts the body's immune system. Why? Because when our body has a lot of bad fat, our immune system lowers. But when the body has no bad fat, so our system is improved and boosted. So decrease the incidence of flu and cough because it's a soft gel that goes and fight. And remember, it has the vitamin E, which is an antioxidant. So it goes and fight all that. So what next? Next is the brain function. So it supports the brain health and cognitive function. Why? Because it has the DHA. The DHA is for the food for the brain. So it empowers, it improves the memory and focus and concentration. It reduces the symptom of depression, anxiety, and bipolar disorders. Now, we are going back to this beautiful woman here you are saying. So what happens? Super omega-3 is very, 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 very good for pregnant women. Number one, what does it do? A woman who uses super omega-3, she will never have a cesarean section. Never. Why? Because super omega-3 is a soft gel. It goes inside there. It softens the bones of the baby. And when the bones of the babies are softened, it means that at the same time, the bones of the mother, they are also softened. So when the bones of the mother are softened, and remember, now, this is a soft gel. It's soft gel. It creates the passage already. It makes where the baby will pass smooth because it's a soft gel. If you get out of it, it's soft. It's a gel. So a woman will never have a cesarean. You will always have a normal birth. And it's given between 2 months to 6 months. Because since it's a soft gel, we don't want to give the woman who is in 7 months plus. So we stop it at 6 months. So what has the baby, when the baby is still in the womb, when the mother consumes it, so his brain is worked on because it aids the brain development in the baby when the baby is still in the womb. Number two, what happens? What happens is that a woman will never have any miscarriages. It will never have any miscarriages and will never have anything to do with cesarean. And you're going to produce a very brilliant baby. Remember, the baby has been feeding when the baby is still in the womb and the mother is taking super omega-3. So the baby's brain is developing. So you're going to produce a very brilliant baby, a baby with a high IQ. And you will never go for cesarean. They will never even, because a woman who uses, because this, I have a true story. One of my friends, I advised her to use super omega-3. When she reached 7 months, I say, no, you stop. So on her 8th month, she went to the hospital. They say, no, you still have a month to go, but it was advised, she was given some, they say, no, the baby is coming. No, the baby is not coming. The baby is coming. So in that scenario, she went back. She finished her 9 months. When the 9 months happened, she went back. Remember, when you go to the labor, sometimes they say we are waiting for the baby to come, the centimeters, issues to do like, but here when she reached the hospital, the baby came out very well. What was the secret? The secret was super omega-3 because of it has already softened the bond of the baby. And remember, here is a soft gel, so it has created the passage. And it decreases the risk of developing breast, colon, and prostate cancer, and reduces the risk of developing diabetes. Why? Remember, this is, I've told you, it goes inside the vein vessels. What's high blood pressure? What's diabetes? Diabetes is too much sugar in the blood. So what does it go? It goes in the vein vessels. And that too much sugars is dissolved. And when it's dissolved, it makes the diabetes that has been there, the too much sugars, to reduce. And yet someone who has been having diabetes, they will find out that you don't have it because super omega-3 has dissolved that bad, too much sugar in your blood. Remember, it's in a form of a gel, so it protects the vision and gives the eye a good health. You know, one of the medicine for when you have some issue with the eyes, so they encourage you to cry. When you cry, so you wash the eye. So this one, super omega-3, so for it, when you take it, it goes and it will protect the vision and it will give you a good eye health. It prevents and delays the formation of eye diseases, like because it's a soft gel. It prevents cancers, it inhibits cancer cell growth, reduces the tumor size and speed. Reduces the tumor size. Super omega-3 has the capacity of dissolving the tumors inside our bodies. So now we go to what's the target market for super omega-3? Everyone between the age of 8 to 70 years, or 8 years, or 90 years, you need super omega-3 because you have a heart. So super omega-3, it should be taken every single day. Every single day, you should be taking super omega-3. We have gender is for both male and female. And what's the people who need to use it? Everyone. I recommend everyone, so long as you have a heart, you need to use super omega-3. Those at risk of heart disease, people with a family history of cardiovascular diseases, individuals with diabetes, pregnant women, you should use super omega-3 because DHA, we have when you are breastfeeding for pregnant women, when you give birth, DHA is found in breast milk, but the body naturally makes small amount, so we need to get them from a supplement so that we can have it fully in our bodies. And it's so good to it reduces the pains of menstrual cramps. So my sisters who have issues when with cramps whenever you are in your menstruals, the solution is super omega-3 because of the fish oil that reduces that pain. But you should not take it when you're menstruating. You should take it on a regular basis. So by the time you go into your menstruals, the body already have the super omega-3 and you'll never experience that issues. So what are the specific health interests for super omega-3? Number one, cholesterols. We need to manage our cholesterols. Those that need to manage their cholesterols, they take. Those that want to work on their hearts, those that want to prevent the cardiovascular diseases, so they also take super omega-3. So super omega-3 may help alleviate or support the management of the following illness. Remember, this is a food supplement. Some of us, we tell people that super omega-3 is going to help you cure. We don't want to use the word cure because super omega-3 is a supplement, it's food. It's food. What does it do? It goes in the body and gives the body the power to fight all the diseases. That's why we say it may help alleviate or support the management of some diseases. I don't know whether you've got me well. So diseases like people with high cholesterol, people who have heart diseases, the coronary heart disease, the PAD, stroke, someone has had stroke, people with high blood pressure, they need to use super omega-3. When you go to those that are neurological disorders, people are depressed, you have stress, you have anxiety, you have Alzheimer, people with Parkinson disease. Parkinson disease, where I come from, in Uganda, we gave it a name in Luganda. They call it obulwadde bw'abako, obulwadde bw'obuko, something like that. Parkinson disease, that's when you cannot walk well. Sometimes you susu in your clothes, so you don't have that movement. So, but when you use super omega-3, it helps to manage. The inflammatory one, we have rheumatoid arthritis, we have the fibromyalgia, we have the gout, we have the IBD, and it also supports people with breast cancer, prostate cancer, lung cancer, and other conditions like asthma, allergies, eczema, acne, menopause symptoms, those people who are in their menopause. So super omega-3 help them not to experience those symptoms in that area. So I don't know, I think Mr. Kagami, that has been our training for today, and I'm sure that if we start using super omega-3, we have high chances of preventing cardiovascular diseases. So with that, I want to ask whether we have some questions, and if we have some time, I can answer them. But if we don't have time, I think they can be answered, they can be forwarded to me, and I can answer those questions. You have been a very wonderful audience, and I'm very, very humbled and grateful to have you in our presentation. Thank you so much, Mr. Kagami. Is there any question that I can answer?
Yes, Dr. Eli, that was a great session concerning cardiovascular health and more specifically the solution. So we spoke about the problem and the issues that bring the lifestyle, that brings those kinds of problems, and of course, lastly, the solution. I can see on the chat box people are excited. I believe people have learned. Whenever we train on whichever product, the next day we have people buying them at our company offices, and this means they're gaining the knowledge. Yeah, I can see someone is asking if someone is using blood thinner, can they use super omega-3? I think that is a question over there.
Yeah.
Maybe you, yes.
Do you want me to answer that now?
Yes, please.
Okay. Blood thinner with has no issue to do with super omega-3. Super omega-3 is not like resveratrol. Resveratrol is a supplement that someone who is on blood thinning cannot use. But super omega-3 is very okay for someone on blood thinning.
Fantastic. And I think lastly is most people I know they would want to know, and one has a question that will be the last one, that how do you take omega-3?
Okay. How do you take omega-3? Omega-3, most of our supplements, remember supplement is food. So we recommend after taking your meal, that's when you should take a supplement, omega-3. You should pardon me. I think I left out something. Sorry. So the recommended dose for omega-3 may depend on individual need and his status. For example, for those that they just want to maintain, we recommend 1 to 2 capsules a day. Those with specific conditions like you have high blood pressure, you have so we recommend 2 to 3 capsules a day. But you take them after eating your food, after having your meal, and I recommend taking it during the day because that's when the system is working, and by the time the system rests, so it has already done its work. So you take it with lukewarm water. Remember, take with lukewarm water. Never take a supplement with cold water, because when you take a supplement with cold water, you turn it into a toxin, a poison. So our supplement should be taken with lukewarm water. I hope you all know lukewarm water.
Yes, of course.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, that has been amazing. I think
Another question
we'll
I
be,
think they can ask is from what age to what age? So super
yes,
omega-3 can be given from here we say 8 and above, but super omega-3 can be given to children from 5 years. Because if you cannot swallow, remember you can open that capsule and pour on something like a spoon, and you can feed the baby.
wow, that's fantastic. So let's keep on tuning into such trainings by the doctor. Next, of course, is going to be next week, but tomorrow, all of us in our different centers, we have the 9 a.m. training, we have the 12 p.m. business presentation, and then tomorrow being Friday at 8, we are going to have the Tanzania presentation, which is translated in Kiswahili. So if you have people in Tanzania, you invite them to that presentation. So I want to wish everyone the best. I believe that we have learned. Remember, the essence of knowledge is not to gather more knowledge, but the essence of knowledge is to actually take action. Take action. Taking action is you getting omega-3 tomorrow, using it, telling someone who you have had concerning omega-3 and you believe that they would need, and actually they might want to use this product. So thank you very much. I want to wish everyone a great evening, and for Dr. Eli, I think it will be good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my brother. It has been a pleasure. Thank you and bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.